Paris Dakar Rally with
Euromaster, the European tyre specialist.
And Mitsubishi Motors Corporation.
Well, good evening. Welcome to our continuing coverage of the 20th Dakar Rally, day 14. Carlos Sotelo crashes out of fourth place, just 6 kilometres from the start, his rally over. In second place, Richard Steinck loses 1 hour with GPS failure. Andy Hayden of Australia wins the stage. On the car front, Jean-Pierre Fontenay wins the stage and continues to lead the rally. Luc Alphand, the world ski champion, having a good day today, finishing in the top 10 on the stage, skiing on the sand. Well, first a look back to yesterday's stage, and we picked up Richard Steinck. Steinck pushing hard on the stage yesterday. Wins the stage and elevates himself, well, keeps himself in second place. Stefan Peter Hansel finishing on the stage in third place and continuing to lead the rally. But for Fabrizio Mioni, a crash in the Nega Pass after problems with his GPS twice on days previously. Bruno Sabi fails to win the stage after getting caught up in a camel rope on the stage, and Jean-Pierre Fontenay continues to lead. The scenes of yesterday's stage going from Timbuktu to Neymar. As we have a look back at some of the images of this 20th Dakar. Today's stage coming up in a minute. It goes from Neymar to the former Foreign Legion fortress at the Mauritanian oasis of Tajika. This is called the Terry Sabine Trophy, and it's 749 kilometers ahead. The first of 2 marathon days with no air assistance whatsoever. So Stefan Peter Hansel continuing to dominate the rally for Yamaha, and Mitsubishi also dominating as the rally goes further and further ahead. Sad news though, we heard this morning that Roger Clark, the British rally driver whose flamboyant driving style brought him 2 RAC rally wins in the 1970s, died of a stroke yesterday at the age of 58, had been ill for some time. So a big loss to British rallying in general. Roger Clark dying. Here is that stage we're just talking about, Neymar to Tajika, 749 kilometers, including just 4 kilometers of liaison, and reckoned it was going to be one of the hardest stages of the rally. Let's just see what happened. Well, temperatures in the mid-30s as we see David Castera. He has retired hurt after 2 crashes on the rally. He was 18th yesterday morning when he had his second crash, and he retired last night. As he told us, in agreement with my doctors and my manager, Heinz Kindergartner, I didn't go on. I fell 2 days ago. I was a little bit unconscious. My body hurts me. I tried to run yesterday. It's quite impossible. I'm too tired. I can't ride. Also out, Carlos Sotelo retiring after a crash with a shoulder injury, having started 9th. I finished the special yesterday, he told us, and then 10 kilometers later there was a little bump, nothing special, and I was thrown off the bike on the liaison. I crashed, the bike rolled over me. I was okay because I was protected with my arms, but the bike was destroyed. I don't have any spare parts, and I have to stop. Richard Steinck, Tuesday's winner, lost time in second place to Mioni. He had GPS problems. Let's hear him on board. We're running on a good track, he said, in between trees, but we had to be careful not to touch those trees because they're full of big black thorns and they hurt a lot if you catch them. So losing that second place back to Fabrizio Mioni. as we pick up once again Stefan Pethansel, 5 times winner and now more than 30 minutes clear of Meoni in the overall lead. On board Meoni now. Today I made a mistake on navigation, he said. I took the wrong track. I think I probably lost a few minutes. Indeed he did. He was only 4th on the stage with more GPS problems after the first checkpoint. Oscar Gallardo and Andy Hayden riding together. Hayden, incidentally, the Australian Safari Rally winner many times, injured his wrist in a crash on Tuesday, so he's taking just a bit easy today on the 24 bike. Here he is again, though, going past Jordi Arcarons, who started 8th this morning, so Hayden not slowed that much. Stefan Pethansel arriving at its checkpoint, no problems. Well, he said till now it's been quite okay, it's not so difficult. Everyone told us it's going to be a hard stage, but we're taking our time, paying attention not to get lost today. I fell once in the dunes in the soft sand, but that's okay, that's normal. GPS problems again for Fabrizio Meoni for the 3rd time on this event. He's getting more and more furious, just will not work. Organisers now supplying the GPSs and he very, very unhappy, wants to use his own. What about Richard Saint? He had GPS problems as well. He was lost for an hour and he told us it worked till 10 kilometers from the start and then nothing, just stopped working. Absolute disaster for me.
J'étais 2 km à côté de la piste et les dunes étaient très molles. Je me suis ensablé 20-30 fois au moins.
So at one stage I went about 2 kilometers off the piste and that was it. I was totally lost and terrible trouble finding my way back. Richard Zankt again there in the deep sand. Fabrizio Meoni, 4th on the stage and 2nd overall, as you heard earlier, after Zankt's problems. Alfie Cox, the South African, he started 5th this morning. He was 2nd on the stage. What about John Deacon? You're all waiting to hear, I know. Well, after Sotelo's retirement, he should have moved up into 6th place, but he had a bad stage today. Took an hour and 19 minutes to run the stage, slower than Hayden. Cost him 2 places. He's now 8th tonight behind Sala and Jimming, both of whom he was leading last night, but he's only 29 minutes back. And of course, there's still a lot of days to go on this event. Don't forget, get those messages to John on his website, www.johndeacon.co.uk. We understand you've been swamping the site.
I'm just changing the air
So, Pethansel finishing the stage, very tiring, he said, and it's not over, and this is just at the fuel stop.
To the end.
Fabrizio Meoni, I'm not feeling very well, he said, so I'm just trying to run without falling, that's the problem. Man totally tired out now and frustrated by his GPS problems. Jean Brucy on one of the 2 surviving BMWs, he stops, he's got a hole in his radiator and he is going to be out of the rally. He'd started 16th this morning. I broke the cylinder head gasket, he said. I stopped because the light was on, I checked the oil and water, found there's a hole in the radiator, put the water of my own water bottle in the radiator, it boiled, now it doesn't want to work, there's no more compression. So he's taken out, as is Philippe Bermudes, the Yamaha rider, 96th this morning, but he's got a shoulder injury, it's got worse and worse. Doctors tell him I think you should stop, and he says yes, I better stop now before it gets any worse. So the doctor calling for the evacuation of Bermudes and Brucy out of the stage. Alfie Cox 2nd on the stage, and Hayden wins the stage.
Today was good fun, yeah.
As we said, Andy Hayden winning the stage.
I hit my wrist yesterday with a big crash, so I started off quietly and to find out that a lot of people got lost at the first fuel, so that sort of jumped me from sort of 8th or 9th up to about 3rd. So from there on, I've just sort of tried to stay with the bunch, and that's what's happened, yeah.
So Pethansel with a 33-minute lead over him, and no assistance tonight, of course, as they head for the fearsome Chinguetti dunes tomorrow. Fabrizio Mioni saying the stage was long and difficult, like an enduro race, a lot of rocks and turns. There was a little of everything on the tracks. It was difficult. And I'm not physically fit now. We're close to a very important stage where the bikes have to be in good condition. No assistance tonight, so, well, we'll just have to see how it goes. Andy Hayden, stage winner, Mioni fourth, and Alfie Cox from South Africa, second on the stage. We asked him how it went for him today.
It was good. I lost a lot of time this morning. I was stuck in the one sand dune, and I think I probably lost 15 minutes. And I work it back slowly, and then from the last benzene home, we catch up to Stefan, but he was not riding fast. And I have no road book, so I was a little bit worried. And then I see the two-track path about 80 kilometers from here start. Looks like there's a big truck being on it. But my GPS is working, so I think, well, this must be the way. Put gas and it's great.
So today's results: Hayden Cox, Ped Hansel, Mioni, Archerons and Sala. John Deacon, as we say, finishing a little bit down today, 16th on the stage, dropping him to 8th overall in the standings. What about the other Brits? Simon Pavey, 54th on his Honda. Nick Craig is 73rd on his CCM, and his friend and teammate Vinny Simon, 76th on his CCM. So those four British and Irish still in the running on this 20th Dakar.
The most frightening tale of all.
DJ, where are you?
Did you hear it?
Is not from our past, but from our future. Event Horizon.
Hallo, ich bin Norbert. In meiner Branche bin ich als Fachmann bekannt und gefragt. Ich arbeite für eine der bedeutendsten Handelsketten Europas. Mittlerweile gibt es schon mehr als 9000 Spezialisten wie mich, die für ihre Sicherheit da sind. Wir überprüfen, reparieren und wenn nötig wechseln ihre Reifen. Auf diesem Gebiet sind wir Profis. Für die Zufriedenheit unserer Kunden tun wir einfach alles. Damit sie gerne wiederkommen.
Euromaster, the European tire specialist.
Surprised at just how far the new Mitsubishi Pajero will take you.
Hi! So, how about a ride?
The all-terrain vehicle that redefines freedom.
Back to the Paris-Dakar Rally with Mitsubishi Motors Corporation.
We're back with Eurosport on the Dakar. If you're just joining us, just to recap, that Andy Hayden won today's stage. Stefan Hansel still leads the rally, but we lost two riders today, David Castera and Carlos Sotelo. Sotelo's fall from third place should have put John Deacon further up, but he had a slow stage today, and he's dropped 2 places to 8th overall behind Sala and Jimink. Now, Richard Sankt had a lot of problems. He lost second place because of problems with the GPS. GPS problems. Now, this is global satellite positioning and organised by Axel company. First-time teams have not been allowed to provide their own, and Stefan Hansel tells us that technique tells us where we are, longitude and latitude, and is picked up by satellites. We can program only 10 points on the day's passage. GPS tells us the direction in which to go to these points, the distance left to go to the points, and the cap, the actual input point that we are using when we're running. Not just used on bikes, of course, it's also used in cars. There you can actually see it working, the little green screen on the left-hand side. Hubert Oriel explains how.
70s, we had nothing. We had just a little compass, same as you can have in a helicopter or a plane, and maps, and the road book, and that was it.
Indeed, these are early days of the Dakar. Looking back over some of the past 20 editions, it literally was plot and bash. And this is the sort of problem you finished up with. Again, Stefan Peterhansel.
On peut même pas dire qu'on se perd avec le GPS. Maintenant, on s'égare.
We can't really ever get lost to the GPS. We just stray off a bit, we might miss a pass or a valley, but we always know where we are roughly because we can program our position and find our way back to where we are on the map.
We think it's necessary to stick back to what made the Dakar, what made adventure, and that's why we decided in TSO to limit the capacity of the GPS in the memory. And now the drivers have only 10 points to make the navigation and to make the stage.
Heinz Kindergartner and one of his chargers, Fabrizio Mione, who's had all those problems on the rally and says, well, next year I want to have my own. I don't trust the organisers' GPS anymore. Well, flashback time on this 20th edition of the Dakar, looking at 1993, the 15th Dakar, when only 154 competitors started for all sorts of economic reasons in Europe. Came down to Mitsubishi versus Citroën. Citroën now running in the red, which they used until they pulled out last year. And the big fight between Lartigue, Oriel and the Citroëns, and Bruno Sabi for Mitsubishi. Sabi never yet won this event. And here going down through southern Algeria, the spectacular landscapes of Tamanrasset, El Galea and the Hogar Mountains, and into Mauritania. Some of the most spectacular and beautiful countryside in the world. Sadly, since the problems in Algeria, not used so much now. Polini trucks, this is Alfonso Polini himself, based on Italian airport fire trucks, winning the trucks. Stefan Peterhansel leading the bikes, winning for the third time from Charbonnier and Archerons, all on Yamahas. Bruno Sabi then wins for the first time for Mitsubishi from those two Citroëns of Lartigue and Hubert Oriel.
Beyond the boundaries of our universe. Who knows what it's brought back with it?
Infinite space, infinite fear, infinite terror.
God help us.
Event Horizon.
You may be surprised at just how far the new Mitsubishi Pajero will take you.
Hi. So, how about a ride?
The all-terrain vehicle that redefines freedom.
A box. Another box. Another one.
Some boxes have some things you don't expect. Scenic PCs with Pentium 2 processors, for instance, have an infrared interface, a chip card reader, ISDN communication tools, customized network solutions. Siemens Nixdorf, personal computers.
In sports and recreation, make Malaysia your destination in 1998.
Back to the Paris-Dakar Rally with
Euromaster, the European tyre specialist.
We're back with me, Mark Cole, looking at the Wednesday 13th of January stages now here on the car side of the rally, and after today another 4 days to go. But don't switch off Eurosport after Sunday, because we'll be bringing you 3 days nightly coverage of the Monte Carlo Rally as we start our coverage of all the 1998 World Rally Championship this year, European rallies, daily reports, and we'll be doing roundups of all the other events, so don't miss that. Ben Edwards will bring that to you starting from Monday night. Well, we're on board with Thierry Delaverne in the Nissan. He was 6th this morning, running hard on the desert. Jean-Louis Schlesser just ahead of him in 5th place. As we then pick up, still running with Delaverne, best of the Nissans at the moment. Ian Philippe Alliot, best of the rest against the Mitsubishi squad. Jean-Louis Schlesser, as you'll hear in a minute, losing places today after starting in 5th. This is Kenjiro Shinizuka, yesterday's winner of the stage and 3rd overall in his Pajero. Jean-Pierre Fontenay, rally leader of the last 7 days, now building up almost a 2-hour lead in the event. Pushing hard through the camel grass as they head up, passing Sabi there in the distance, it looks like. Passing other competitors at speed. Just hear the power from those Mitsubishis, 260 brake horsepower. Coming into one of the checkpoints, we're back on board with Shinizuka and Henri Magna. Let's listen to Magna's commentary.
So, this way? Yes, this way, right, again. He was just behind us.
Who?
Jean-Pierre, following us.
Behind us?
Yes.
No.
No. Before, he was behind us. He went straight on the motorbike's marks. Then he passed.
So there you heard it. They're actually ahead of Fontenay at that point. Here is Sabi. Bruno Sabi finishing 3rd on the stage today and keeping 2nd overall despite some overheating problems and being stuck for 10 minutes. Well, this is the NG Pass, where a number of cars had to do the whole of the section with punctures. Fontenay amongst them. Shino, in fact, flattening the exhaust on his car, and he lost 5 minutes in repairs. But worse for Jean-Louis Schlesser, a hole in the radiator and having to stop.
Where did you see it?
To top up with their drinking water. Jutta Kleinschmidt stops to help as well. We talk to Jean-Louis. Well, it's just a tiny hole in the radiator. He said the water's coming out very, very slowly. Now we're missing water, but we're going to find the hole and we can block it. It's not a big problem, and then we'll continue. Carlos Souza passing 13th this morning. On board again with Shinizuka.
Yes. You want? If you can, possible. Yeah.
You want?
Yes, later on.
Leader Fontenay having a puncture there.
Yes, I want, but later.
Well, Shino now heading up into the mountain of Elephant's Erg, a sea of rocks and sands, and also that NG Pass we just heard about. Where in 1985 the rally came to a total halt in winter sandstorms. It's the only time it's ever been on this stage. Oriol himself took 40 hours to make 900 kilometers on his BMW that year.
So 2 big rocks in front.
It's Elephant Rock.
Yes, Elephant Rock. This is
and there is the Elephant Rock.
Going to helicopter. Yes, okay.